Yo, what is good, everybody? Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Noah and I help people awaken to their true abilities through wellness and spirituality. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the truth about toxic masculinity. You know, there's a lot of different things I want to share about with this video because I think it's very mainstream. You know, we're very quick to say, you know, toxic masculinity, toxic this and toxic that. And I kind of want to explain why we kind of address it as this and kind of give you a new perspective, or a perspective about masculinity in general and how that kind of relates to the different energies that we embody, whether you're a girl or boy, you know, it doesn't really matter, or whichever gender you identify as. You know, when we're dealing with masculine energy, we have to understand that regardless of what gender you identify as, everybody on this planet embodies both masculine and feminine energy. Now, you know, regardless of your gender, right, it doesn't really matter, but all of us embody masculine and feminine energy. And the reason why a lot of people, you know, what toxic masculinity is pretty much men, right? Or, you know, this could apply to women as well, I feel like. But men oftentimes struggle with connecting. You know, toxic masculinity is pretty much is masculine energy that hasn't been balanced, you know what I mean? True masculinity is being secure within yourself. You know, it's being confident, right? It's being a leader, it's being courageous, right? This is what true masculine energy represents. And toxic masculinity is when that, you know, the shadow of masculine energy, right, the toxic parts of it aren't addressed, you know what I mean? Whether or not you grew up in a certain way where your environment kind of dictates like how you go about life. You know, there's numerous amounts of men who actually struggle with not healing, you know, and stepping into their true selves, you know what I mean? A lot of the reason why toxic masculinity is a thing is because men haven't really healed a lot of the wounded masculine energy, you know, that they carry around, right? Masculine energy is confidence, right? Like I was saying before, it's givingness, right? The willing to give to somebody else. It is security, right? You are secure within who you are. You know, you're not worried about what someone else thinks about you, right? This is divine masculine energy. You know, when we kind of ignore or we don't heal this side of ourselves, you know, it can show up as toxic. And same thing with the feminine, you know, in terms of the feminine energy. All of us embody both feminine and masculine energy, like I said before, but feminine energy is receptive energy, right? It's allowing the universe to give to us, right? It is caring, right? It is loving. It is the more emotional side of our being, you know, and all of us embody both of these energies. It's just that a lot of people, specifically men in general, have been brought up to not heal their true masculine energy, you know, and the yin and the yang, right? Hot and cold. And whether or not we want to admit it or not, all of us embody both types of energy, you know what I mean? It's just that with masculine energy, a lot of men haven't addressed the, you know, toxic side of that. You know, it's like their shadow, you know what I mean? This is how we grow as humans, you know, addressing the shadow aspects of who we are, right? A lot of men grow up in environments where their dad isn't the best to their mom. You know what I mean? They grow up where the dad is either abusive or doesn't treat their wife very, great, and their kid kind of gets raised subconsciously to treat women that way. It's unconscious, right? They're not realizing that that's how they're treating women, and so what you'll see a lot of the times is these guys grow up and they fall into, addiction issues, right? Much like their dad, maybe, if their dad was an addict, or if their dad struggled with alcohol problems, right? They kind of tend to fall into the same trait, and it's because they were never taught how to observe, right, the whole aspect of themselves, right? They kind of just want to push it away, right? We're taught a lot of the times as men to not feel, right? To not feel, not have feeling, not cry, right? We're taught that if we cry, then it's not manly, and that is the absolute opposite. You know what I mean? Crying is one of the most manly things that you can actually do, because it shows that you are in tune with both masculine and feminine energy. Like we were talking about before, our feminine energy radiates in emotion, the emotional side, the receptive side of us, right? Us being willing to receive, a lot of, that's why manifestation, oftentimes when we talk about manifestation, right, we have to have both energies. We have to be balanced. Our feminine and masculine energy has to be balanced in order for us to be able to manifest, because when we manifest, we're open to receive from the universe. But what are we also doing? We're also mani, right? The root word of manifestation, mani, actually means hands. And so we have to take action as well in order for us to receive these manifestations from the universe. And so that's why it's a balance of energies, right? A lot of the times whenever we're talking about toxic masculinity, it is men who haven't learned to address, right? Or they haven't been taught how to properly be in tune with their feminine side, right? How to be properly in tune with their divine feminine energy. And that's something that a lot of men lack. See, when you're in tune with your divine feminine energy, then the masculine energy starts to heal, right? It starts to become better once we start to address it. And once we start to acknowledge some of the toxic, right, traits of the masculine energy. But masculinity isn't toxic in general. It is the abandoned, right? It is the hurt side of masculinity, right? That we experience as kids. And we never grow out of it because we're never taught how to actually embody this energy and how to heal it, right, on our own. We're just taught to put our emotions to the side and not cry and not really, feel. And whereas with women, a lot of the times women are taught to not speak their minds, right? They're taught to shut their mouths. They're taught to not stand up for themselves because it's a man's world or whatever. I was talking to one of my friends who I work with, who was telling me that this dude was pretty much talking a whole bunch of crap about her because she said she didn't want to be with him, right? And a lot of the times guys get very salty. They get very angry when a woman rejects them, right? They don't really want to accept rejection. And so what do? They resort to talking a lot of crap. And because of this, right, she wasn't afraid to stand up to herself. And it's because she's in tune with her divine masculine and divine feminine energy, right? Specifically divine masculine, because masculine energy represents, being courageous, right? Not being afraid to speak our mind, right? And so a lot of the times women aren't taught that. And so a lot of the times they're missing out on their masculine energy, right? It's not, their energies aren't balanced between the masculine and the divine feminine. And because of this, they have to start learning how to embody some of that masculine energy that they were never taught as kids, right? Same with men. Men have to be taught how to embody the feminine energy that they were never taught as children as well, right? How to feel emotions, right? How to cry. You know, when we learn how to feel emotions, we learn how to cry, and we learn how to actually be in tune with our intuition, right? And so toxic masculinity is just simply men who haven't learned to embody their divine feminine. That is kind of what I wanted to touch on in today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I hope it gave you a pretty good perspective on divine feminine and divine masculine energies, and how when we balance these energies, we ultimately become our true selves, because we all embody these different energies. It's that a lot of people struggle to observe aspects of their energies that are that haven't been catered to, right? It's their shadow side. It's their shadow side of each energy that they haven't addressed yet. And so I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have any questions on future video suggestions that you want me to talk about, feel free to comment them down in the description box below. And with that being said, my friends, have a wonderful afternoon, morning, or night wherever you're at. And peace, love, and happiness. Mwah.